Should you sell all your crypto right now? Is Bitcoin going to make another liquidation event? Guys, these are questions that I will try and answer in today's video. So let's just jump straight into it. And when we have a look at the Bitcoin price action, we can see that it's not looking all too strong in the immediate short-term time frame. We got a small bounce from the support, but so far this one is already rolling over. And very interestingly, we are getting closer to that 60-day cycle low, which I have been mentioning already in the past couple of videos. This is going to be the most important moment for Bitcoin right now, because the next 60-day cycle low, which is planned around the end of February, you can actually view these cycles over on willportal.com. There you can see on which day we are right now. So we are right now on day 50 of the 60-day cycle. Roughly, this is not a precise science, but roughly around 60 days we are going to see a low, and that low will then eventually start a new cycle in Bitcoin, a new 60-day cycle. So when we are very late in the previous in the 60-day cycle right now, then it is common that we first get a little bit more consolidation or a little bit another dip into that 60-day cycle low, and then we can take off and see more bullish price action. So I'm still going to lean to that case. So right here we are right now on day 50. So roughly within 10 days, we are going to see most likely a new 60-day cycle low. Yeah, I've drawn it right here on the chart as well with the green arrow. And I've said that in previous videos as well. I don't know how this is going to look. You know, one of the most bullish things is, of course, we go up and then we have like a 60-day cycle low right there, and then we just continue to go up. But it's also possible we do something like this, or maybe we get like a capitulation event into that 60-day cycle low. For me, it is important to survive this moment. So you got to be a little bit careful when you're trading with leverage and you're opening long positions. Normally, I don't really do that right before a 60-day cycle low. So right now we have a time span of 10 days, and opening longs at this period of time is not the most smartest, because if we do get that 60-day cycle low, which most of the time we get, but if we do get it as a new low, this would be like a similar low, but if we will get a new low, then yeah, your long will be in trouble. So what you basically want to do, guys, you want to take a moving average right here. You want to take the 10-day moving average, where we are trading right now below. You want to wait till the time of the 60-day cycle has been passed, and then you want to wait until we break back above the 10-day moving average. And once we are doing that, the chances that we have seen the 60-day cycle low is significantly increasing. So for example, right here we can also see it the moment we broke back above the 10-day moving average. Eventually it was not the case. We still had a retest, but that was the 60-day cycle low. Here we can also see the moment we break above the 10-day moving average, that was also a confirmation that this was the 60-day cycle low, because it was in the time frame. Here we also have it break above the 10-day moving average, and then we just had a nice rally. So that's something that I'm waiting for. Then guys, when we have a look at the data on Will Portal, then we can also see right here that when Bitcoin was moving sideways and the selling pressure was decreasing, it suddenly increased right here because the red intensity became more intense, basically bringing more selling pressure on Bitcoin. And yeah, this is also generally not the most bullish sign that you want to see. So I personally want to wait a little bit right here. Just sit tight on your spot holdings. I'm not going to panic sell. I'm not going to change my portfolio. I'm just going to keep it the way it is right now. And I'm just going to wait, because one thing that's very important, guys, is that prices going up and prices going down is just a different side of the same coin. So you need both of them. You need prices to go up in order for them to be able to come down, and you need prices to come down in order to be able to go up. This is the same as waves in the ocean. You need the ocean pulling the water in order to make that wave. And this is why it's so important to embrace the risk, right? So when things go up, we can celebrate, but when things come down, we should actually also celebrate, as that is just a part of going up. A part of the gains is that we need to come down. And that is what I said in my previous video as well. That's the same with giving and receiving. Giving and receiving is just a different side of the same coin. If you cannot give, you cannot receive. So if you want to receive, it's very important that you are able to give. But that's also right now crypto. So we have to imagine and we have to realize that right now when things are coming down, right now things are not looking all too bullish, things are coming down. And especially, guys, I'm not even like that much talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking way more about like other altcoins, like for example this altcoin that I'm holding as well. This is DYDX, and just look at this chart. I can go to a weekly chart, it will even look worse. Like, go to a weekly chart, look at this project. This is in a bull market, crypto bull market. We are down from the all-time highs right here. We are down 97%. 97%. That is really crazy. But I also know that because this price action comes down so much, this project is still standing, there is a very big opportunity right here. There's a very big chance that this eventually will go up. It's like when you have like a catapult. When you pull a catapult to one side, one moment it will lose, it will go with the same magnitude to the other side. And I believe that this is happening for crypto as well. I personally don't believe that right now is the time to sell. Definitely not. It's not the time to capitulate. It's not the time to panic. It might come. I'll show a chart that I'm watching that has me a little bit concerned. But generally speaking, guys, based on timing, based on everything that we are seeing in the markets, it's a very good time to enter crypto, if you ask me. But it's not going to be easy, and there will come moments like this where there's a lot of uncertainty, when there's a lot of fear. But that's part of the roller coaster that we're in. We basically signed up for that because that's also the risk. You'll never time the exact bottom really good. And if I would have way more stable coins right now, I would deploy more in the markets, definitely. But yeah, maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable for a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. But I think this will turn around. I definitely think this will turn around. I want to share, guys, a tweet from Michael van der Poppen. And this is also how it can go worse. Yeah, so he says, I'm currently 7 months all in to my altcoin portfolio and down 50 to 70%. I've been doing the same previous cycle and some coins went up to 20,000% from the low. I've held coins for multiple years to see the reward, and that reward is enormous. Sit back and relax. So this is even worse than our situation, because even though I'm right now down on my altcoins, I made like a 300 or maybe more than 300% on the XRP trade on the complete portfolio. So even though I'm a little bit down on alts, I'm still heavily in the profit because of XRP, but also because of the SUI trade that we did before the XRP trade. But what I'm trying to say is that even though we are down a little bit, I'm personally down a little bit, there are people that are down way more. And these people, for example, this guy is already in crypto for such a long time. He also knows how it works. And he also knows that you gotta have the longest breath. You gotta see it like this, because there are many people, market makers, exchanges, they are trying to shake you out of the markets. They are trying to manipulate you with negative news. They are trying to push the prices down or create these capitulation events just for you to panic, to shake out at one specific moment, because they know later you will go back in, because you are led by your emotional state. That's the whole problem. So the capitulation event comes, you panic, you sell your coins for very cheap. The market makers and whales, they are getting at those coins. Once they are holding all those coins, there are not many sellers left. So then they are doing the same thing, but the opposite direction. You know, they create hype and prices go up, and eventually your emotional state goes from, wow, this market is going nowhere, to, wow, we are back in the bull market. So you start to redeploy capital and going with that hype, which is exactly at the opposite moment, at the moment that you should be selling because everything is bullish. you actually start buying. And that's also what we did with Ripple. That's also what I said to you guys when we were trading this Ripple trade. I'm very happy that I took profits on Ripple, to be honest. And many people said like, yeah, but no, we're just going to go up. And some people, like, if you just want to hold and you don't want to look at the price, that's also completely fine. But I personally like to trade now and then as well, and I like to take my profits. And once we had this massive pump, well, I took some profits. I made multiple videos about that. Some profits, or a lot of profits, I actually put into Litecoin. That still is around a similar entry as I went in. So that one actually performed better than XRP over the past couple of weeks. So when XRP was correcting, Litecoin actually stayed the same or maybe increased a little bit. So it's all about shifting your liquidity from place to place where it will serve you the best. But taking profits or marrying, and this is also important, marrying with one specific narrative will never do you good. You got to be flexible. You got to be able to go from one place to another. This will make you way more profitable, if you ask me. Now let's go to some warnings, because a lot of things are looking good. Because this guy is, for example, down 50 to 70% is actually a good thing, because they're trying to capitulate him, right? They completely trying to capitulate him. So there was already a good risk to reward ratio 7 months ago. Otherwise, he didn't went in. He's already in crypto for such a long time, probably even longer than me. He's down 50 to 70%. So the time that this capitulation takes place, it's already 7 months, maybe even longer. When you are already seeing good risk to reward ratio, it's coming to an end sooner or later, right? It just depends how you going to react on it. That's the most important thing. So he says sit back and relax. I would say the same. Sit back and relax. Don't worry too much. But there is a but. And that is when we have a look at the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. We are in this, in this channel right here. If we were to have a decisive breakdown of this channel, I might change my perspective, because that would be a bit like, that doesn't look that good, because we are leaving a consolidation phase from an uptrend and we are turning into a downtrend. This could be like a double top formation or a M formation. I don't like that. If that were to be the case, I would see more evidence that things are not looking all too bullish, and then I might change my strategy. Also, when we have a look at the stablecoin dominance, this is something that bothers me a little bit, like this structure, like a falling wedge formation. If this one breaks out to the upside, the target of this wedge is like the top of the wedge. That wouldn't be possible if Bitcoin is still in the bull market. That would not be possible, because if this thing breaks out to the upside, we break a resistance created from 2022. I'm expecting Bitcoin to go to way lower levels if that were to be the case. I don't hope that's the case. We haven't seen a breakout yet, but these are some charts that are lining up. And if that were to be the case, so let's say this chart breaks out to the upside, this one breaks out to the downside, then for me personally, I gotta assume that the bull market is over and that we have seen the 16-year cycle in play, which means that we have a early bull market top. We already surpassed the red area. This is something that I talk about in various videos, but Bitcoin generally goes through 4-year cycles. And when we have a look at the bigger scheme of Bitcoin, it could go through a 60-year cycle. And the last 4-year cycle of the 60-year cycle where we are in right now could be a cycle where we are seeing the top coming very early, and that is definitely a possibility. And so that's also what I'm saying. If I see more evidence that that's the case, I have to protect the capital and sell some whenever that happens, basically. But right now that doesn't happen yet, and so far I think a lot of altcoin charts in generally, when you look at them individually, they look pretty good. They look definitely pretty good. For example, one that we have been trading, or that I'm positioned in, Litecoin, looks definitely very promising and very good. So there's no reason for me to sell, because this chart hasn't been invalidating anything for me. So guys, that was it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Be the one with the longest breath until we are seeing clear evidence that we are wrong in our thesis. I'm just going to sit back and relax in the sense of like what comes down must come up, and there will come times, and it might be even sooner than you might think. There will come times where everything will go up and the hype will start to come again. We have some announcements. So in March, 18 and 19 of March, the Federal Reserve might cut rates. That might be a narrative that's coming up. We have to look a little bit in the future, of course, what could drive the prices up. But there's also another downside to this, is that maybe something will happen between now and this moment. A crisis, something will happen in order for them to have a reason to cut more rates, similar as we have seen in 2020, the March crash in 2020. There was a very short-term crash because there was this crash right here. It was a very short-lived crash. Bam, we crashed like insanely. Then we went back up. We had, for example, this was in the end of January, and in April and May we were already at a similar level. So just a couple of months later, we retraced this whole crash and started like a crazy big bull market, right? So something like this is definitely possible. Not saying something that exactly like this will play out. What I'm just trying to say is the playbook can be similar, that they need a crisis, they need a little bit volatility, they need a shake-up before they can say like, okay, but right now the markets are not healthy, we need to cut rates, and those rate cuts and maybe the start of quantitative easing will then ignite everything to go up and will be the new narrative, similar as it was right here. We don't know what is going to happen. We just can look at the charts and make our own assessments. Like I said, I believe right now is not really the time to panic. But if we do see some different signs, then we might want to consider changing our strategy. But for right now, I'm just going to stay put and wait till that 60-day cycle low. And that comes maybe with a little bit shaking and volatility. We've seen that previous 60-day cycle lows often comes with a retest of the lows. So that's definitely possible. Bitcoin going maybe to 90k, maybe even dipping below that. All still within the realm of this bull market. Okay guys, that was for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Drop a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't down below. And I wish every single one of you a beautiful day today. And I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.